Ilia Topuria is never one to hold back when it comes to calling out figures in the MMA world, and his recent comments about Khabib Nurmagomedov have stirred up quite the controversy. During a fiery conversation on a Georgian podcast, Topuria did not mince words in addressing Khabib's decision to never make the leap to the welterweight division. The topic came up in the wake of Islam Makhachev's potential move to 170 pounds, a decision that many believe was strongly influenced by Khabib. Topuria, however, was quick to point out what he saw as a double standard and an unwillingness to take risks, labeling Khabib a coward for never stepping up to challenge himself at welterweight. Topuria's comments have resonated loudly across the MMA community, with many questioning the legacy of Khabib, who has long been considered one of the sport's greatest. While Khabib's dominance in the lightweight division was unquestionable, Topuria and others on the podcast argued that Khabib's reluctance to move up to 170 pounds was a major gap in his otherwise flawless record. Topuria, known for his no-nonsense attitude, didn't hesitate to call out the former champion for not testing his skills at a higher weight class, particularly when Kamaru Usman reigned as the undisputed king of the welterweight division. The comments grew even more pointed when Topuria compared Khabib's reluctance to a woman being asked if she wants another child shortly after giving birth. His analogy was controversial, implying that Khabib's decision to retire in the midst of a weight cut and then later entertain the idea of a comeback for $100 million was akin to a temporary decision that could have been swayed by time. It's like asking a woman right after giving birth if she wants another child. She might say no in the moment, but after some time, she might be open to the idea, Topuria explained. This harsh critique of Khabib's retirement and potential comeback set the stage for a wider discussion about fighters' willingness to take risks and push their boundaries. On the other side of this heated discussion, the topic of Jack Della Maddalena's massive title win over Belal Muhammad has also sparked intense analysis. During a breakdown of UFC 315, Big John and Josh Thompson discussed how Muhammad's biggest mistake in the fight wasn't necessarily tactical, but psychological. Muhammad, known for his top-tier wrestling and control on the ground, chose to stand and strike with Jack, a move that played right into Della Maddalena's hands. This overconfidence in his striking, Josh Thompson argued, was a fatal error that ultimately cost him the fight and the title. Thompson went further to point out how this wasn't the first time a fighter in the welterweight division had overestimated their striking ability. He referenced Kamaru Usman, who had also fallen into the trap of thinking his hands were as powerful as his wrestling, even going as far as to claim he could challenge Canelo Alvarez. This inflated sense of confidence led to his downfall against Leon Edwards, where Usman was knocked out in brutal fashion. It's a cautionary tale for any fighter, and especially for Belal Muhammad, who, in Thompson's eyes, should have known better than to stand and trade with a killer like Jack Della Maddalena. Jack's win has now positioned him as a formidable challenger in the welterweight division, especially with Islam Makhachev reportedly moving up to 170 pounds. Makhachev's grappling-heavy style could clash with Jack's precision striking in a way that could reshape the welterweight division's hierarchy entirely. This shift in the UFC landscape has left fans buzzing, especially with the likelihood of Ilia Topuria facing Charles Oliveira for the interim lightweight title. Ariel Helwani discussed the impact of Makhachev's potential move to welterweight on the future of the lightweight division, suggesting that it could benefit Topuria. If Makhachev had stayed at 155 pounds, Topuria would have likely been locked into a collision course with the dominant fighter of the division. However, with Makhachev moving up, Topuria now faces a completely different challenge in the form of Charles Oliveira. While Oliveira remains a dangerous fighter in every area, especially on the ground, he has been finished multiple times in his career and tends to engage in high-risk brawls. This could play into Topuria's strengths, as the Georgian has proven himself to be a deadly finisher when given the opportunity. This shift in the division presents a new opportunity for Topuria to make a name for himself at the top of the sport. While Oliveira is no slouch, Topuria could find himself in a more favorable position, as he is not facing the same suffocating grappling style that Makhachev would have brought. Instead, Topuria gets to take on a fighter who is willing to engage in a striking battle, which could open up more opportunities for Topuria to showcase his skills. But this turn of events doesn't come without a sense of frustration. According to the breakdown by Helwani and his guests, There's a palpable sense that Topuria may be disappointed by the fact that Makhachev's decision to move up has taken away the potential for a massive showdown between the two. Topuria has always been outspoken and competitive, so the idea that he may have to face someone other than Makhachev for the title is likely not what he envisioned. Still, there is no doubt that Topuria is a rising star, and his future in the sport looks incredibly promising, especially with the potential to challenge for the interim lightweight title against Charles Oliveira. As for Khabib, his legacy remains a topic of debate. Some, like Topuria, believe that Khabib's career would have been more complete if he had tested himself in the welterweight division. Others, however, point to his undefeated record and argue that there is no need to take unnecessary risks. Regardless, the conversation around Khabib's career is far from over, and with figures like Topuria continuing to speak their minds, it's clear that the narrative around Khabib's place in MMA history will continue to evolve.